you're still able to make your moves and move forward. So they were really able to take the edge and really make it a landslide towards the mid to the end of that game.
Yep, that is exactly it. Ooh, there we are. We're in our yeah, we're in our spectator slot. We're ready to go. Everyone's lining up. The teams are getting set up nicely. We're in picks and bans. Let's go. Let's get it excited. 23 seconds for the first pick. Now, as you can probably see on your screen, ANU Owls are on the blue side this time, and the first ban Akali. Sorry. Yes, first ban Akali. Not surprising, I don't think.
Really, I mean, well, I suppose at this point, now that these two teams have had some experience with each other, they have a bit more of an idea of how each other's going to play. So I'm actually going to be very curious to see if the ANU Owls make some changes to their bans to be able to adjust to the strategy that they experienced in that first game.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I mean, we've seen the Aurelia ban Aurelia ban. We've got the Riven ban as well, both very, very high threat solo lane champions. They can take over a game by themselves. They can use those ultimates to get a bunch of kills. And I mean, yeah.
No,
seems to make sense. They're both taken off the board. 2 tanky junglers taken off as well. That's pretty standard for Wheels of Bureaucracy. Last ban for ANU. You got to think it's going to be something like the Kai'Sa, right?
Well, what type of bans do you reckon that they would need to be able to do if they have the chance to be able to change it up?
I think Zed. I'm gonna say Zed. So Zed fits the theme of these kind of high damage threats, the very carry styles, the ability to take over the game with a good lane, things like that. I'm interested to see exactly what Wheels of Bureaucracy take off the board. They take the exact same bans they had last game. Fair enough. These are they worked for them last time. If it ain't broke, don't fix
it.
Yeah,
no, absolutely. I mean, if you have a formula, then why do you need to necessarily change it? But at the same time, if they are going to be repeating
to, as I said, the big man in the top lane, Pat Simmons. And actually, it's a different type of hype carry picked up this time for Wheels of Bureaucracy. It's going to be the Sivir.
Oh, wow, yeah, so we do have a bit of a change over here, and that could be an opportunity for them to really mix it up. I mean, at that point, even having Garen in there, Garen, that could just be a cover, but at the same time, with Garen, they haven't used him before either.
To quote Redwoods, Garen is SS plus tier. I believe that was the exact wording you used. Garen is a dominant champion, and actually the Volley Bear, a quick lock-in. This is one we don't see too often. Probably going to be going to the jungle. He's tanky. He does damage. He eats people. He brings everything you could possibly want to the table.
When you have a Volibear and you have a Garen, I mean, you have SS plus tier, and then you have your, all-in-one universal remote over there. With the Volibear over there.
The main thing for ANU right now is AD carry stays safe. Everyone just runs as full pelt as possible. Garen pops his Q, runs as hard as he can. Volibear pops the Q, runs as hard as he can. And this time I really like the mid lane Morgana pick, because that Black Shield is going to allow the safety of one extra player, because both Garen and Volibear are going to want to use their CC at the end of their big running dashes to make it that much harder. And Morgana, she mitigates some of that with a Black Shield. Now into ban phase 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely know that when you have that Black Shield, spells won't necessarily be able to affect a certain champion. I mean, I know the amount of times that I've played Blitzcrank and I've tried to grab, and either with Morgana there or someone else, and Morgana's just like, nah. Not today,
Oh man, that would be a rough time right now, because the other thing about the Sivir, which is kind of one of her staple abilities, is the spell shield. So when she activates it, the next spell she gets hit with is completely nullified, which is a nice kind of, actually almost a preemptive counter towards something like the Volibear. It makes it that much harder for him to find the flip. But with that combo as a 1-2 punch, that's very nice.
Now, what do you think about some of the bans that we do have coming out over here? We're just actually at the phase right now where we are completing the bans.
Well, Tin Man, we were talking about today earlier, actually, the strength of the Corki pick. We saw him absolutely shred through a series of assassins and pretty much anyone who stood in his way, so I think it's a very safe ban. I'm surprised, actually, I hadn't even brought this up, but I'm very surprised that I wasn't actually banned earlier, and this is just solo lane pinch the ban phase. We have 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 solo lane bans in this ban phase. A lot of them are flex picks who could go to either top or mid, so I don't know exactly which one. But at the same time, this is pretty much just, I bet you I've got more solo lane picks than you. You know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and at that point, it looks like they're really just trying to focus down on being able to lock down certain characters that really just had quite the presence in some of those lanes, and that's mainly just what I'm noticing over here.
Yep.
Which then allows us now to move forward to the last 2 picks on each team, so it's really going to be able to solidify what each team is going to be able to move forward with, and I'm very curious to see what your analysis is on the team compositions and what the game plans are going to be for each of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, the Owls have 1 pick to go, and you've got to think it's got to be the support, unless we're seeing Volibear. Volibear has been seen recently as a support. Everyone, that is the worst thing ever. It is the lowest tier thing ever, but Volibear is a support, and oh my god, Tin Man, it's happening. We've got the Volibear support.
Oh, yeah.
I am so excited.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're just saying it right now, like, unless they were able to pick another character, Volibear is going to be the one that's going to need to be able to be in that position alongside the AD carry. So it looks like we have a team composition already filled in for the ANU Owls team. We just need to see how the Wheels of Bureaucracy is going to be cleaning up on their last pick over here, and it looks like they're hovering over Talia.
They've locked out Talia, in fact, and I don't know exactly where the Talia goes. You know, she has the potential to be a really dominant bot laner. She can be a support, she can be a jungler, she can be a mid laner, she can be a top laner. Talia does whatever Talia wants. That's kind of the thing. It looks like at the moment she's going to go to the mid lane, which is probably the most standard of all of them. And I just do not know what to make of this ANU team. It is insane. They picked the Volibear into a Morgana Sivir, which that's a problem because you can't. I just said you can't play Volibear into Morgana or Sivir. Those are the 2 champions who Volibear wants to avoid, and he's support against a Morgana and a Sivir. So who knows what's going to happen from there? There's going to have to be some very, very creative players coming out. If that is the support, it could still be something like the Cassiopeia or the Garen, but I think those are pretty terrible picks in the support lane.
No, fair enough. I mean, definitely counter picks are going to be very prominent in this game, hence the amount of characters that you have. So being able to really avoid some of these matchups is going to be critical. So we'll just need to see if the team composition is going to be able to compensate for the ANU Owls team. And you know, only time will tell at this point, you know. I mean, it is possible to be proven wrong, but your predictions so far have been able to line up. So I'm very curious to see how it all plays out and how the deck stacks.
All right. Give me some analysis of your own here. What do you think about the skin game? Who wins?
Well, I mean, just considering just how it's all been going, I mean, like I said, like that start from the ANU Owls, I still just can't get over it. I still think that it's going to be possible, but just looking at some of the team composition here, looking at the conversation that we've been having, I do think that the Wheels of Bureaucracy will have an edge.
But what about the skins each team is using? Like who's got the advantage in that? Because that's what last game we called it. You know, we said Wheels of Bureaucracy, their skins are too good, and it came out. You know, this is clearly where the high tier analysis comes in.
to keep the ANU Owls on the board.
That was almost a very sneaky Dark Binding onto Dutch there. Doesn't mean get too much damage traded back. This Sivir is playing a very dangerous game, trying to put some damage in the Goon Sack. There's the Dark Binding, followed up by the Boomerang Blade from Sivir. Boy, howdy, is that some damage onto the Ezreal.
No, absolutely. I mean, really being able to stop them in this tracks and then get the Boomerang play from the Sivir, like, the amount of damage that was able to do is really going to put some pressure onto the ANU team at that point. So, I mean, there's probably going to be some space that they have, but then also now using the teleport to get back, that's going to take up some of the resources in that aspect. And they're really trying to make sure that top lane tower and that bottom lane tower are protected. They're going to need those ones because they can't fall too far behind in this war of attrition that's happening.
And I think I'm gonna slap Dutch on the wrist here. So there's a concept in League of Legends called Skill Shot Alley. It's where you stand between the tower and a wall, and there's nowhere to dodge skill shots because you're essentially trapped. There's no way to move, up and down. You're kind of forced to back and forward. And that's the sort of situation where you just get killed because when a Dark Binding gets thrown at you, if you don't have Arcane Shift for the Ezreal, you have literally no way of escaping. Goon Sack's gonna pop the Q. Immediate Black Shield coming out of Dincham. But Goon Sack wasn't even close enough to probably be able to capitalize on that one anyway.
Absolutely. And looking at the mid lane does seem probably what is looking like the best lane for the ANU team at this point. ANU Owls is able to do probably half the damage to that tower when it comes down to the mid lane, and we'll just need to see if they can keep that up in some of the other lanes as well, because potentially that could be their opening for being able to make their way over to the Wheel of Bureaucracy base.
And that is a slight advantage. Another slight advantage from ANU is the jungle pressure. The fact that Ionia has been able to get a decent number of ganks off. There's another Dark Binding going through Ezreal. He has the ability to Arcane Shift away. He's just been very stubborn with it. That's something which maybe Dutch needs to, watch back on the VODs. But, it's a hard ability to use. It's hard on to dodge. You never know when exactly the Dark Binding's going to hit you. It's got quite a bit of quite a big hitbox as well. That one's going to be Arcane Shifted away from Ezreal's. It's time to pick that one up. Dutch knows his limits.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you have to be really avoid that move because the stun on that is definitely going to be able to add a lot of pressure. But looks like there's been just a bit of pressure that's being applied to the Sivir over there, but yet the Sivir is now also being protected as well. So no one's really had as much of a death in that bottom lane for some time right now, but it does look like the Wheels of Bureaucracy team is quite comfortable when it comes down to the bottom lane and being able to just apply the pressure that they need. I mean, even in the top lane over here, we do have Garen being pressured quite a bit, but Garen's trying to fight back. It's not necessarily going to be able to complete, though. But, we have a bit of more engagement.
Here is Ionia. He's going to get hit by the Hextech Ultimatum, so he's going to be trapped in this 1v1 for a little while. There it is. It's immediately burned, and actually the Umbral Trespass comes through, and that's going to be dodging the stun. And there's 3 players in the top lane. Meanwhile, a fight goes down the bottom lane, which we didn't get to see, unfortunately. And that's going to be the Volley Bear Goon Sack going down. He just overextended a little bit too far, I think. There's probably a Black Shield. There's probably an overextension Dark Binding kill there. And it looks like Wheels of Bureaucracy can be rewarded from that with the first tower. And this is the power of the Sivir. She just pushes the lane. You can't stop her because she pushes the lane, and she doesn't stop. And eventually, you just lose your towers to it. And there's not much you can do in return.
Absolutely. So yes, the first tower is going to go down for the ANU Owls team. They're going to be losing that tower, and that's going to open up that bottom lane. And we've been talking about it. I mean, I'm very worried about the top lane as well. I do think that tower is going to be quite vulnerable in that sense. So like I'm saying, the ANU Owls team, the mid lane is their strongest lane at this point. Hopefully they can use that to be able to make a push, but at the same time, they also need to figure out another type of tactic, because right now, here we go, as I've been saying this entire time, another tower has gone down, also as the Rift Tower is being contested right now.
And that's it. Goonsack trying to do anything he can to contest this one. There's the ultimate from the Volley Bear. He's actually trying to take a 1v1 against the enemy jungler. That's very risky. There's the flash going over. Pneumatic Knave going to be forced to back away. Ming's trying to put a trade onto Patsimons, but Patsimons is just too far. Tech ultimatum not available. The silence, the ignite. Ming is so low. There's the ultimate thrown out, but it doesn't quite find Patsimons, so the stun does not land, but the slow is enough. And here's Pneumatic Knave as well as Shamden trying to collapse on that one, but they're not going to be able to. And despite the fact that the health bars are absolutely flashing red, Wheels of Bureaucracy get out alive.
No, absolutely, and I can definitely hear some of the communication between the Wheels of Bureaucracy team. They're definitely saying, don't go in, it's not worth it, especially, when you have, just a sliver of health left on some of those champions over there. It's really going to put them in a bit of a vulnerable position if they were to continue to move forward. And, sometimes that's the game. Knowing when to hold it, knowing when to fold it, you just because you see the opportunity, you can't always just follow through with it, have some reservation, show some control, some discipline in that sense.
Did you just hit me with a Kenny Rogers? That's good. That's
yeah.
quality. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And that is the kind of situation we're in. I think this is the last, this game decides who takes this series, and that's going to be something which, ANU Owls do not want to give up on. They've really got to hold on to this and try and make this hand work for them no matter what they've been given. It's a tough ask, but they do have some decent scaling. Ezreal can do quite a decent job late game. So can that Cassiopeia, but they've got to still get there. They've got to make sure they don't give up too much more and they try and be proactive in this one. Little bit under a 3k gold lead at the moment, but there's Ming going in aggressively onto Patsimons. Not too much damage going back either way because Garen is a very tanky boy, and Ming has some defensive Hextech protocol is what it's called.
And we have a lane swap as well. I mean, Garen was in the bottom lane at this point, after being in the top lane. So they're really trying to add some pressure over here and seeing if they can make a bit of a push towards the bottom tower of the Wheels of Bureaucracy team. But we have
this
just
is
a
an
bit of
interesting
another
fight.
exchange.
Yeah, that's going to be Ionia trying to get the kill already forward, but there's so much magic damage on the side of Wheels of Bureaucracy they just can't make it work. Here's Cassio. There's so much damage being put on. She's still poisoned, but it's going to finally take her down, actually. Cassio doing so much work. The spell shield for Civ has blocked something, but Ming's going aggressively. The Cassiopeia, so immobile. No damage at all. So no mobility at all is going to get shut down. And that was very unfortunate. That's the player you're relying on if you're ANU.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Wheels of Bureaucracy, they're starting to pull away with this a bit more, Now they have a 3-kill advantage as well as a 2-tower advantage, and they're also on the dragon over here as well. So what dragon do we have here? What type of abilities do we expect?
This is the Cloud Drake, and it gives you movement speed out of combat. It is considered one of the weaker of the Dragon family alongside the Ocean Drake, but at the same time, the ability to make rotations, the ability to get those faster engages, things like that, buff you on the hunt from the Sivir. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. It's not the worst thing you could have in this game, even though it's not the most useful either. Something like something like an Infernal Drake, which gives you the extra damage, would be potentially more valuable.
No, absolutely, and I mean, being able to have more movement speed also means that you can be able to chase down or run away when you need to as well. So that's going to be very important, being able to have that opportunity to maneuver and, being quicker on your feet at that point. So at this stage, now that they do have the Drake on their side, that's just yet another objective that's going to be adding on to the Wheels of Bureaucracy. But we also do to notice that the Rift Herald did come out for the ANU Owls team, and that was able to take out the first tower in the mid lane. So they are being able to use that to keep up, and like I've been saying, mid lane is looking like
oh, that was an
there,
absolute massive ultimate there, and the actual the dash block, the grounded from Cassiopeia is coming through. There's a big outplay. She just has to find a few more E's. She's not going to find that. Might be a big trade in the top lane, but also a trade in the bottom lane. Both players going to be able to get away from this one. Where's the E? Nice! A dash and a flash and a hard engage, but it's still going to be the kill. There we are. There's the Glitch Prison coming out of Sejuani. Finally showing that one down, but winning the 1v1 in that matchup is absolutely huge. Go next, showing Ming how it's done.
Some of these encounters right now, I mean, it is absolutely wild just to be able to witness how, they're just, he kind of stuck around, trying to take a look to see if he can maybe just get a bit more, out of that encounter, but then, having somebody else come in from the Rocket team, but forget about that.
Ione is going to get a big ultimate, the Umbral Trespass on the Sivir. That's another kill for him. That's going to look pretty good. The Seismic Shove does not get anyone, and that's just a pick out of nowhere for ANU, and that's the other thing. No matter how far behind you are, you can always find picks. You can always catch that player out of position and just shut him down, and it's something which, ANU do have the potential to do. It's hard.
Yep.
It's not that easy, especially with a spell shield, especially with a black shield, especially with all of these tools, but it's something they can do, and they just showed it.
Yeah, and what's important to note is that, ANU is down. They are definitely not out. ANU Owls does definitely have the potential to be able to bring this back. And, at that point, only being down by 2 kills, I mean, there's definitely quite the objective, bonus in that sense. But they still have the opportunity to be able to flip this game around. But the thing is, though, what do you think that they need to do to be able to flip this game around?
Well, it's just exactly what I said before, it's finding picks. It's playing around. Go next. It's the same thing we'd already identified. I think being able to find these kind of rogue 1v1s up in the side lanes, that's nice as well, but you can't rely on this kind of plays. Yeah. Also, an engage like this from the Garen will help, especially because you can set up that silence to begin with. the precision protocol wasted a little bit from Ming there, but that's all right.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so at this point, it is also important to note that the mid lane tower for the ANU team went down. But
Pat Simmons with the quick feet, being able to dodge absolutely everything there. The Ezreal comes back out as just a kind of disengaged tool, and now Volibear might have been caught out. He dodges everything. Goonsack is so huge here, but he can't dodge absolutely all the auto attacks, and they're going in one by one. The Umbral Trespass is there just to buy some time. And actually get a little bit of healing back as well. That was an absolutely massive stun, and now it's going to the backline, which is focused. The Camille goes down once again. Go Next just absolutely styling on Ming, but this might have been a fight which ANU did not want to take in the grand scheme of things. The Civ is so big. She's walking through. She's doing a lot of damage. Here's the wave as well. It's going to cut out the remaining members of ANU. The seismic shove can't do anything. They have to flash away from it. And now they're stuck in a corner. But they're stuck in a corner with caged animals. But it's okay, because those animals are not strong enough to take down the threat of Wheels of Bureaucracy.
oh my gosh, and we have the first ace of the game. I mean, you know, who let the dogs out? Because, you know, like those animals, you know, they're beasts right now, and they definitely did show that, you know, in this last encounter at that point. So, I mean, wow, first ace. Everybody on the ANU team is out of the picture, except now we do have some of them starting to respawn. Some of those timers have started to clock out, but that's really going to be putting quite the setback. And now, very curious to see what the Wheels of Bureaucracy is able to do with this ace and able to do with this opportunity and the gift of time that they've allowed themselves for being able to unleash and win in that last team fight.
This is a much steadier, much more controlled kind of advantage build for the side of Wheels of Bureaucracy. They're not making this so, it's not as one-sided as it was. It's not as even as it was before. This is much more of a calculated, controlled choke out of game. And that's a term we like to use in League of Legends to essentially mean when you have an advantage and you start pushing it small ways until that small advantage gradually grows into a big advantage, which is just completely insurmountable. It's hard to combat, but it's also something which you absolutely need to play very carefully on.
And absolutely, and that just goes back to the war of attrition. But Lab looks like we have yet another 2-versus-1 fight, and it's looking like they're really going to be able to add a lot of pressure onto the Wheels of Bureaucracy team member over there.
And Ming dashes out, tries to get a Goonsack, but Goonsack is there in waiting arms. The teleport's coming through. The Kane gets locked out by the Sejuani. He's going to try and find the upper trespass, get the healing. The Garen's spinning. He's winning. He's doing so damn well. But it's a 1v1 in the back, and that's actually the Morgana who I think was winning that one. Yep. Morgana, the support.
Wow.
The support Morgana just soloed the AD carry Ezreal. And that's how you know you're stomping lane.
Oh my gosh, I mean, they almost brought it back. It wasn't an ace, but they took out 4 members of the Wheels of Bureaucracy team, you know? Like, now they're at 12 to 14 when it comes down to kills. Like ANU is keeping up. And oh, now Baron's in play.
Baron is in play. This is something ANU absolutely have to do. A nice little bit of BM that is being thrown around there before the teleport's in. Who is that? That's the Camille. Can he make the steal? ANU surely have this unlocked. We can't quite see how low health the Baron is. He's going to move that up there. And finally it's secured by the blue team. Looks like I'm spectating now. The Camille's going to get caught out. She's going to get spun to death. And actually caught out by the twin fangs of the Cassiopeia.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, now being able to lock out that Baron buff is really starting to give some more of the objectives over to the side of the ANU Owls, and they have a few resources to be able to start to make this move to bring it back. I do think that we do have a bit more of a tighter game here. I mean, I definitely know that you were saying that the Wheels of Bureaucracy team had a bit of an advantage over there, and they are going to be pushing on to this next Drake. What is this Drake going to be able to do?
This is the Ocean Drake, the one I was talking about being the other not as useful Drake, kind of the tier 2 of the series, you know.
Yeah.
The tier 1, of course, being the Mountain and the Infernal, the Ocean and the Cloud being kind of the second tier. The secondary, not as good, but I mean, it does give you some regeneration. At this point in the game, with this kind of a team comp, it's not so much, but Wheels of Bureaucracy, they're going to be able to get away with it clean. So it's not really traded for anything, so it's kind of a free pickup for them, so it's not going to hurt. Definitely.
No, definitely, absolutely. But like at that point, there is also the Baron that came into play, and you know, we were definitely noticing that when it came down to some of the objectives that were in the top part of the river, then yeah, between having the Rift Herald and having the Baron, that did go over to the ANU side. So yeah.
The ANU are running in. Like I said, they're going to want to run it in. And oh my god, this Garen does so much damage with that Black Cleaver. The engage is still going on. There's the big snappy sword. And actually, Camille's jumped in the backside. She's going to use the Hex Tech ultimatum to try and trap a few players in there. But meanwhile, Ionia is actually doing some solid work under the tower, tanking it up. But he just doesn't care. Look at how tanky this Garen is. He survived for so long, and now it's a 2v2. Oh, sorry, a 3v2. But the tower is there as well, and the Morgana gets away with a black shield for herself. But the tower goes down, and now she's got nowhere else to run. There's the kill.
Oh my
Cassiopeia sinks her twin fangs into the Morgana and takes her down.
And they returned the favor. They got the ace. They were able to bring some of the game back into their advantage. The ANU team is really using that mid lane, and I called that mid lane from the beginning of the game, saying that that was their strongest lane. That was their way to get into the base. Now they're going to be able to take out the inhibitor. Now they're going to be able to get the super minions. The middle lane is going to be their gateway to being able to win this game if they can keep it up. They have brought this back.
They absolutely have. It's been a spectacular series to watch. And of all the team comps to do, a Volibear, a Garen, you know, this is not what you expected them to bring. This is a G2 team comp. This is not meta. This is ANU doing whatever the heck they like. ANU Owls, that is, doing whatever the heck they want and making it work.
Well, hey, there is another team that does do whatever they want and they make it work. And you know that team before. We were watching it earlier today.
That was exactly it. G2, they're so good at making up these team comps and saying, this is meta now. I don't know what it is. I hadn't even thought about it. I just lost in the first champion I thought of. But it's meta now. Another thing I think is rather interesting is the fact that I think this is the first time I've ever said this, where an entire team's strength spikes off one item, and that item is Righteous Glory. I never thought I'd say that ever in my casting career, but the Righteous Glory spike, giving them the move speed, letting them make these big engages when all they have is really the ability to run at wheels of bureaucracy. Pneumatic Knaves in the backline, there's the binding. How does this work?
Oh my gosh, it's just like this Baron buff, this push. They're going through the bottom lane. They're adding more pressure.
That's so much damage to Cassiopeia is so big, he's going to get caught up by a binding, caught up by a stun, but it doesn't matter because he has enough damage to make that one work. The 1v1 in the back line, the Kayn, the red Kayn as well. Wrath doing so much work. There's Talia having to be forced to flash away. Garen does not care. He silences, he ults, and that is such a low Talia that's heartbreaking with your passive, but he's done so much work this game already. He can pat himself on the back, take the inhibitor tower as well, probably in the opposite order, but you know, however you want to do it.
Absolutely. And I mean, wow, like ANU has really been able to make the most of that Baron buff. I mean, I know it's a bit of a repetition of what I was saying, but just with all of the different, like, just team fights that have just been happening, they're in the base. Like, you know, the bottom lane was a very weak lane for them at some point, but they turned it around, and we have another encounter right now.
And ANU are trying to defend this one. Sorry, Wheels of Bureaucracy are trying to defend this one. It's a hard push. ANU are trying to end. They don't have the health bars. They're so low. The Ezreal's trying to do the damage. Go Nexus trying to do the damage as well. Ezreal's trying to backdoor. He just has to hit the Nexus. He wants to do it. One auto attack, and he does not make it.
Oh my gosh, that almost killed the game.
But look at this Cassiopeia. The Cassiopeia fighting in melee range against a Sejuani, where that is her absolute... That is her absolute wheelhouse, and she somehow wins it. Go Next has absolutely put on his carry pants and gone massive. Oh my god, he found a stun as well. He's gonna kill the Morgana. She's so low. She's dead. Can he manage to find the other one? Surely not. Go Next. What is this? You're huge. Oh my god. Go Next. Go Next. What are you doing? You can't do that. That's not how this game works. All of ANU getting absolutely insane for that play. Well deserved. This man is incredible.
The roof just got raised on this place, yo. Like, it just, oh my gosh, like, the amount of energy in here could power a city. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, esports energy. Sorry, that was an unnecessary meme. Do you mind talking for a second? Because as you can hear from that play, my voice is a bit wrecked. So Tin Man, give me a second here, buddy.
All right, so I'm just definitely going to need to carry just some of the casting right now because, yeah, especially you got so hyped, we went up to capacity, like talking about running out of petrol in your tank. You know, but at that point, we do have another Drake that is now going over to the ANU side, and so that one was the Mountain Drake at that point. So that is going to be one of the top tier Drakes because, of course, as Metro was saying before, there are 2 levels of Drake, so now getting some more advantage over there. I can't believe, like, the Nexus is almost gone. I wonder if they're going to do a backdoor sneak attack. I really do. You know, as they're on Baron as well. They're maintaining Baron. We're doing a bit of the Baron dance though right now. A bit of the tango, a bit of the back and forth, a bit of the, are you going to get into the space? Are you going to contest it? Right now, you're going to have a bit of a fight right now. And it's going to try to make something happen. that they have the opportunity to stop them from taking Baron. This is going to be a very important fight for them to be able to navigate through. But oh my god, we do have the wheels of bureaucracy. They were getting this bit of the advantage, but the Garen is going in, and the Garen is really using the tornado to be able to take
Oh
up
my
the
god.
kill. Garen getting a triple kill, getting a quadra kill. They're trying to take it all out, but is Garen going to be able to get that final kill, or do they even need it? Are they going to be
He
too greedy
finds
to
the
get it?
Penta, but they've just got to run into the base. There are no Nexus towers. Just finish it off.
Yeah,
This
just
could be
go.
the big play.
Why are you just still in the game? You can kill. You can finish the game.
There we are, a Penta kill for Garen. Absolutely well deserved. Patsyman's coming up absolutely huge. Go Next says, you know what? I'm going to live up to my namesake. We're starting the next game right away, and ANU Owls take a game back. Tin Man, have you ever seen a game of League that exciting?
Oh my gosh, like just the turnarounds. They said it wouldn't go to game 3. They said it wouldn't go to game 3, and where are we right now? We are in game 3.
Redwoods, buddy, you got some words. You're going to have some words after this. He's going to be on the mic coming up next, though.
Redwards, you're going to be sitting here with me next, so yeah, we're going to be talking about that. Oh my gosh, we have a game 3, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to go to the final match. Like, it is absolutely is going to be just something unbelievable
Of
at this
any
point.
series to go to a final match as well. I'm so glad it's this one. What else do the ANU Owls have up their sleeve? What other spicy picks can we see? What other massive carry efforts can we see coming out of Go Next, Patsimons, Dutch? Any of these players, even Ionia, pulling so much weight to drag the team through that rough early mid game and pull them through to the late game where they absolutely shone like stars.
Oh my gosh, well, at this point, we're just going to have just a bit of an intermission, so we will be handing it back over to Jay so that he can be able to just do some of the in-between presenting.
Thank you very much, Tin Man and Fetch, for that amazing shoutcasting. So it looks like we will indeed be going on to Game 3. ANU Owls, this time pulling it actually back around. Pat Simmons really angry about the comments from Ionia, just says, I'm going to get pentakill this game. Nah, rightio. That was an amazing game in the last fight. Oh my goodness. So, Ionia, once again, what do you think contributed towards your team's victory this time? Do you reckon Pat Simmons' pentakill was that magical, beautiful thing you needed? Top. Oh, it's okay. Your BM went completely unnoticed by Team Wheels of Bureaucracy, so unfortunate for you, Ionia. It's okay. You'll be able to BM them in the lobby. Don't worry. You'll get them.
Can I give a shout out to the extensive crowd for staying to watch Game 3, man?
I mean, half of them are gone now, so sucks to be you. Huh? Mr. Pat Simmons, you were the amazing pentakill on Garen. How do you feel after that?
Yeah, look, that was obviously just all me. Callum, the mid laner, did nothing.
Are you going to continue the trend of this top diff in match 3?
We'll have to see how it goes, I guess.
And finally, once again, Ionia, what are you hoping for the third game now?
That they don't ban Can.
Right, yeah. Going over to Team Wheels of Bureaucracy. Where was... Are we our top laner? Hello? Hello, how do you feel about Ionia's top diff comment?
That was actually second time Camille.
Rightio then. Mr. Chamden, just interrupting you. How do you feel? What do you think contributed towards your loss this match?
Well, I think we're doing pretty well in the beginning, but then we got a bit too ambitious in team fights, and we didn't realize the power of the Cassiopeia, so we kind of just ignored her, and then she just got really fed.
Fair enough. What do you think is going to be your key factor in winning this third game and taking it home again, once again, against ANU Owls?
Well, I don't want to leak our strats, but we're going to go back to our roots.
Oh, looks like we're going to go have a spicy Game 3. Our commentators will be switching. We'll be having Tin Man and Red War this time around. We are going through with some technical difficulties again, so we're just fixing up the technical issues again, and then we'll be heading straight onto a Game 3. Thank you very much to the crowd for sticking around to a Game 3, even though it's going on for quite a while. So, yes, thank you. We are just waiting on some of the casters for coming back, and then there's still pizza left, I believe, in the lobby, so if you want to go and eat some pizza, feel free. We're also just waiting for some of the casters to get back into their casting table and doing some technical work. Waiting for the teams to finish their pick ban, their drafting, their skill work. We will be heading into Game 3 very shortly. Holy shit. For our Game 3, we will be having Tin Man and Redward as our shoutcasters this time. Looks like all the players are back and ready in their seats again. Team Wheels of Bureaucracy strategizing very heavily against Team ANU Owls after that interesting team composition in the start. ANU Owls also strategizing heavily against Team Wheels of Bureaucracy instead. Looks like our casters are back and in position. So if I may hand it back over this time to Tin Man and Redward, take it away for us, casters. Let's make it an interesting Game 3. Casters once again experiencing some technical difficulties. The mics have not seemed to be turned on yet. Ooh. Don't worry, I'm just listening to your strategies. We're just waiting on the finalizations for the technical issues, and then hopefully we'll be back online very, very soon. We ready to go? Casters, please take it away for us. Game 3.
All right, so are we? Yes, we are here, and we are going to be heading into Game 3. Some of us didn't expect us to be here.
Well, it was a big power play. The Owls really turning around their performance. Some absolutely spectacular plays coming out of both Pat Simmons on that Garen, and some absolutely glorious running and gunning down that bot lane with the Cassiopeia's Twin Fang healing while the Toxin is in effect. Really defied any expectations of the kind of roll through the game that we were looking at beforehand.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was just like seeing the Garen. I remember when I was talking with Fetch, I mean, they were able to get quite a bit of the items that helped them with rejuvenation on the health earlier on, and that seemed to have led ultimately into being able to just get really just a lot of just opportunity for the Garen to really just steamroll the other team. So here we are now, we're going into the ban phase, and I mean, what type of idea would you have to be able to respond to what happened in the last game in terms of bans?
Well, we are seeing the same standard bans. That Kane is now being locked out. He had so much effect in that last match. That's why they put him down on ban. That Scar and the Rammus really trying to minimize Goonsak's effectiveness. The Zed and Akali, both of them have been shown in previous events to be very, very strong. We've got the big hype coming out, that Riven able to make those power plays in the top lane. That's also going to be counterbalanced against what looks like a Garen, and we don't know about that one, but that may or may not be a guaranteed victory in that top lane matchup.
No, absolutely. I mean, we just saw how effective that Garen was that last game. So in some ways, I mean, arguably, I'm surprised that they didn't ban Garen. Are you surprised at all?
Well, we aren't going to see too many bans of it. It is a very, very strong pick into some specific lineups. They do have a lot more priority picks they need to be keeping, especially from the Wheels of Bureaucracy's side. They need to be trying to lock down, keep players like Goonsak out. He's now being placed onto that Sejuani, a champion we haven't seen him use too much as of yet, so I'm interested to see where he's going to take it through from here. That's a follow-up with that Jarvan 4. Very, very similar to Sejuani in gameplay, able to start those initiations, get that cataclysmic initiation. Once again, followed up with a Morgana pick. She is very, very capable of keeping another laner safe. You are very much there just to lock the game down, stop the enemy from running through.
No, absolutely. I definitely saw that Morgana also was playing quite a bit of a role in the last game, and even just like what I was saying with Fetch, I mean, I like to play Blitzcrank, and some of the times when I'm playing against the Morgana, whether it's just on Morgana or if it's a teammate, and Morgana using that shield, and I try to get the pull, and Morgana's like, no, not today.
Very much. You do get that conciliatory pat on the back when that black shield comes up, basically invalidating you when you're playing that Blitzcrank. Interestingly enough, they've allowed Go Next to take that Cassiopeia again. We're going to see that Twin Fang minigun coming out again, hopefully cleaning up in those team fights, showing that 1v1 dominance that we were witnessing earlier.
Absolutely, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that is a Sivir.
Most certainly is. That was a Sivir ban, followed up with an Ari ban, interestingly. The Xayah ban, I'm curious to see what the thought process was. We have seen it used previously to relatively good effect. Not so much that I'd say that it would have been an immediate ban, but it is very, very interesting, and it does add a lot of flavor to this champion select.
No, definitely. I mean, looking at the Sivir, I just remember from the last game in the bottom lane, that Sivir was pushing that lane, and it really does give them an opportunity to really be able to give them more of an advantage earlier on in the bottom lane. Didn't ultimately pan out, where the bottom lane ended up being one of the lanes where the inhibitor was ultimately taken away, but now it's looking like that's forced Lucian to more than likely be the AD carry on the Wheel to Bureaucracy team.
Well, that Sivir is very much all about getting that wave clear. She is able to very efficiently push those waves, keep them pushed in, keep that map pressure against the enemy team rather than pushed into hers. That Lucian, on the flip side, a very, very aggressive AD carry. Not to mention backed up with what looks like a Morgana support. That's probably going to be some strong engages in that bot lane with that semi-assured safety from the Black Shield. Potentially, once those Dark Bindings hit, they can capitalize, get the damage off, probably blow up an AD carry, and ideally snowball from there.
Absolutely. Okay, so then that's just the play right there. And I mean, thank you very much for that, because that's going to be an aspect that we're going to need to look out for in that bottom lane, looking how you have the Lucian and that Morgana more than likely working together. So now here we have the team composition. I mean, what other analysis do you have in terms of the strategy from both teams?
Well, if we're continuing to look on that bot side, just so we can close out, I feel like that's where we're going to see a lot of the action. That Kai'Sa is going to be able to not only capitalize on her fairly strong early game, she will hyperscale through. The Karma also, once again, doubles down. That's a very, very strong early game bully lane.
Okay, so we have the Kaiser and the Karma in that sense. So that's going to be contesting Lucian and Morgana on the other side. So there we have it. We know we have the bottom lane over there sorted out, and we're going to just need to see how that's going to be able to play out in the match. Going to be trying to keep some of these strategies in mind, and going to try to do what we can to be able to let you know how that's going to play out as the game goes on. But looks like the timer is set, the teams are set. We have some of the different lanes also set as well. So at this point, it's just about being able to get into the match. I mean, it's going to be very soon underway, and I'm very curious to see what the opening up of this match is going to look like as well, because I just remember back in that first game, the ANU Owls team, like, they were all together when they were trying to move, as opposed to in the second game where they had that standard fan trying to be able to make a bit of a wall over there. So curious to see how they open up this third game.
Very much so. It was really unfortunate for the Owls in that first match. They did try and go for an early game invade into the enemy jungle, try and pick up that first blood. They did manage to take that flash off the Thresh, if I recall correctly, and that does give them that early game advantage, potentially moving on from there.
All right, so we're just going to be able to pull up some of the other stats over here to be able to see some of the CES, some of the kill, death, and assist ratios as well, and some of those items. And it's looking like we actually have a similar build coming up from the Garen in the beginning over here. Being able to get some of these items are going to allow the health to rejuvenate on top of the passive that Garen has, which is really going to stack on top of itself. Hey.
Very, very much so. They do combine with Garen's passive regeneration. We don't generally tend to see it. Both teams looking to... Both have grouped up. Both have gone for the mutual invades. It appears like they're both just window shopping the enemy's jungle. Not really seeing much else. There's not big deals going on, so not picking up too many around.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, like, they basically both just like left their turfs and they ended up in the other person's shop, and they're like, well, nobody's here because, well, you're in my shop and I'm in your shop. They're seeing each other through the security cameras of each other's shops and just wondering that, like, well, what was the point? So we just are going to be able to reset back to neutral, and it looks like the minions have spawned, so game 3 is officially underway. Let's see how it turns out.
Very much so. The board is set. The game begins. I, for one, am interested to see how this one's going to go. That bot lane, I feel like, is going to be very, very feast or famine. Both teams have a lot of strength in the early game. If they can capitalize, play it out from there, that's going to be huge.
Oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely. So here we go. Yeah, in the middle lane, we do just have some of the neutral trying to build CS and just trying to maintain some of the position with some of the minions over there. Looks like they're moving into the top lane as well. Garen now moving into position as well. And even in the bottom lane, like, pretty much everyone's kind of doing their roles. We got some of the sound up as well. So, it's just really just kind of starting off pretty slow. But we do have a bit of an encounter with the Garen over there. Garen just really trying to stand its ground and making sure that they're not getting pushed too far behind.
Well, he does need to make sure he's not getting pushed out of lane. Riven's combo, Broken Wings with her passive, can put a lot of pressure on. If he gets that snowball going, that can be very, very difficult to come back from. We see Go Next gunning his opponent down with those Twin Fangs. Really cannot emphasize enough the performance he's shown on that champion so far in this series.
Absolutely, and I mean, like, we're starting to see just a few different exchanges and a few different attacks being thrown here and there. I mean, these teams, I feel like they definitely do, like, see blood at this point. And seriously, like, I feel like they want to get in, they want to do it really quickly. I mean, we do have a bit of a engage over here, but it's not necessarily going to amount to too much in terms of an end result leading to a kill.
Just to double down, what we pointed out before, this lane, especially this bot lane, very bully centric. The top lane is very much the same. There's been some big trades on both ends. A lot of chip damage going onto that Kai'Sa and Karma getting low, denying them the engage. Pat Simmons getting stunned when he's trying to get that maybe a bit of a trade-off with the enhanced auto attack. Doesn't seem like it's working out for him so far. There is that freeze by the Owls in the bot lane. Wheels of Bureaucracy currently standing, maybe trying to get a bit of lane pressure, keep up that priority so in case anything happens in that jungle, they can double down and follow up.
No worries about that one, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, at that point, like, just definitely maintaining just some of the positions there. But, we do have now another encounter when we have the Garen just trying to go through and almost putting some pressure on the ribbon and almost getting just another 2v1 over there. So, Garen is actually just in a bit of a perilous position. But, no, we just do have a bit of a back off from the jungler on the Wheels of Bureaucracy team.
There is just so much going on so far. Both teams trying to put their best foot forward, get that snowball going. Pat Simmons, very strong trades onto Ming. He's getting that damage, denying him that bully. Here we go. It looks like Al's getting huge damage off on that volley.
Oh my God.
Oh, that was a big flash. The mind game. The flash is out. The flash by Seven Snake. That is huge. The first blood going to Wheels of Bureaucracy.
Yes, and even just being able to do a bit of a trade in the kills over there. So now, even though Wheels of Bureaucracy was able to take that first blood, the ANU Owls was also able to return it. But now, also here, we have now another encounter in the mid lane there. Not necessarily going to be able to completely amount to a kill in that sense either, but oh my gosh, like, these teams are definitely going at it. We do also have Garen coming through on the Riven, and so Pat Simmons is definitely trying to put a lot of pressure onto Ming over there, but doesn't necessarily complete. And we do have the jungler also from the Wheels of Bureaucracy team just lurking in the bushes there, just ready to not necessarily let Pat Simmons get too far and get away with some sort of kill. But no, he's going to be coming in, and Pat Simmons is just going to run away at that point. So there's nothing too much to be able to say there.
Trying to play it safe, deny them that gang. He does need to make sure that lane does not go into that Riven's favor. There is all summoner spells down, barring that Karma's flash in that bot lane. There is so much room for a play to be made in all three lanes. This is absolutely insane.
Oh, yeah, like, I'm telling you, like, these teams, they want to go in and they want to do it now because we are going to just have another team fight over here, and we're able to escape, but at the expense of using some of the resources there. Even a bit of a teleport that was coming in through into that mid lane as well, but it's looking like nobody's going to be ending their life in this immediate moment. But we just do have a bit of another pushback, but that's not necessarily going to be able to just escalate any further than that.
Ming's teleport is now down. Chamden also down his own teleport and flash. That's a really, really dangerous predicament to be in. They've lost all of their global pressure now.
Oh, and we do have a bit of another engagement over here. Volibear is about to potentially lose out over here, but Volibear was able to kind of make it through on a sliver of health. And now there's also having more of the team coming through. Oh my gosh, they got them, and ANU Dutch goes down, being slain by the Wheels of Bureaucracy team. That's going to be putting another kill into the favor of Wheels of Bureaucracy over here. 2-1. Let's go.
Unfortunately, Goonsack's face plant onto that wall, not only affecting him, but also getting Dutch caught out. That was really unfortunate for the Owls side. We're seeing a bit of a trade from Pat Simmons and Ming. Bit of a back and forth. It is quite amusing to watch. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like anything's coming out of it so far.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm saying, like just these team fights that are just happening, like they really are working together quite a bit, you know, as a team in that sense, and that's going to be necessary. I mean, definitely having this communication. Now we do have Pat Simmons going in for a bit more, but not necessarily going to be following up on that. Despite even having some minions on the side, just going to be really looking forward to just being able to push the lane a bit more so that they're able to just get more damage and more pressure overall when it comes down to the objective.
Pat Simmons' earlier investment into those rejuve beads really coming out on top for him. Something we haven't seen much before, but it looks like it's working out. Something to try in our solo queue games, if anything else.
No, definitely. I mean, I'm very much so interested just to see, you know, that type of strategy as well, because I've never really seen that before ever. And Garen's a character that I mess around with too, admittedly, but that seems like a way that I would probably be really interested in trying, you know, being able to have those types of opportunities to get into fights, retreat, use the passive, rejuvenate some of that health, and then get back into it, because right now we just do also have Ming trying to contest some more, but yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm getting teased so hard in some of these situations.
So much. Unfortunately, Ming does get those occasional trades off. The regeneration is just so powerful. You can, every time he deals that damage to Garen turns around and just says, that's just a flesh wound.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, talk about like being almost like Wolverine here with some quick healing, you know, in that sense too. So even though you do get a flesh wound, it's not necessarily going to last too long. So at this point, I mean, just back in neutral. I mean, yes, there's pokes here and there, but for the most part, just in neutral, just, you know, everyone's kind of just chilling and, you know, just a bit on the front. But yes, there's going to be just a bit of an encounter on that bottom lane over there too, but not necessarily going to amount to any type of conclusion.
Unfortunately, that Dark Binding going wide. If that was landed, that may have been a kill. It may well, I certainly can't rule out the fact that this could well be some kind of mind games. He's just throwing those cues out, lulling the Owls team into a false sense of security before he starts landing those skill shots.
Absolutely, and I mean, yeah, just again, like just at this point, like when you're looking at the bottom lane over here, thinking about just some of the analysis that we did put into it beforehand, it is really just kind of like playing out, but it's still a bit too early to tell really as to whether or not their team composition is going to be able to be one that's going to be allowing them to move forward and progress the way that they need to.
Well, there is one thing that can be taken out from the gameplay so far. Garen letting it rip on Ming. We do have that Kai'Sa who will outscale Lucio once we start getting to that mid to late game and getting those items on the board. If the Owls manage to get that bot lane later on, that's going to be huge for them.
And so while we are in this kind of neutral phase, I am just very curious about the top lane. Like looking at the top lane analysis, what are each of the sides going for between Pat Simmons and Ming? Oh wait, but no, we almost had a kill over there, you know, using the signature move, the R, from Garen, but it was not necessarily able to kill Ming in that sense.
Unfortunately, the only judgment in the top lane was Pat Simmons' attempt at style points. He did score a few, that was good. Unfortunately, didn't manage to pick up the kill. We will be seeing Ming on that ribbon, able to get to that mid game, and will more than likely be able to potentially pick up a couple of kills if he doesn't snowball early. That Garen is so much stronger in that late game.
Right, okay, yeah, so he definitely is going to need to make sure that he keeps up, because that ribbon, you know, cannot let the Garen get too strong. Otherwise, then it's going to be pretty much a runaway later on. And so at that point, but the blue team now has slain the dragon, which dragon has gone down.
It looks like that was a Cloud Drake for the Wheels of Bureaucracy team. That'll allow them to rotate better, really capitalize. We've seen them show their ability to control the map has been so much stronger. It does look like they've been losing those team fights, but if they can use this dragon to its full potential, they'll be popping up mid lane, popping up top lane, popping up bot lane when nobody expects them. They'll take those towers, take those objectives. All of a sudden, they're able to find themselves with nothing left.
So we do have another engagement over here. It's going to be a 2v1, and Garen is definitely letting it rip again, but this time Ming is going to be able to get a... Oh my god, get away.
A beautiful flash by Ming, denying the kills. We see nothing beyond the Sejuani ult burned in that top lane engage. This could well be continue to be followed up. Ming has nothing left up to stop even this dive here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, using the teleport now and going to be able to try to come back and being able to try to just defend the tower over there, because it's definitely looking like the ANU Owls team is making quite a bit of progress in the top lane. Top lane probably being the strongest lane at this point right now, and looking like the tower is actually seeing quite a bit of pressure on the ANU esports side, delivering it to the Wheels of Bureaucracy.
We see some sneaky beaky ganks down in those lanes, potentially catching out. I won't name any laners for sake of letting them know, but it's going to be interesting to see where it goes from here.
No, absolutely. I mean, there's quite the population just down there on the south side of the map over there, because like pretty much 4 of the team is down there, and it's just still Ming and Pestilence doing yet another engagement, but not necessarily going to be able to conclude in that sense. But yeah, like looking at the action just over here, just in the bottom lane, they're all now necessarily going into the river and into the middle. I'm just so curious to see what's going to be happening over there, because like pretty much like the rest of the team is just in that area.
Pat Simmons running in, getting that silence, spinning his way out, and then regenerating any damage Ming can get on him. This lane is looking really dire if Ming can't get fired up ahead.
No, absolutely. And no, we have another encounter. Oh my god, had to use the flash to be able to get out of that one. Oh my god, like people are really like just using some of the resources that they have. I mean, keeping up with that 5-minute timer is going to be very important in order to make sure that the next encounter is going to be pretty big. And also we do have another kind of a bit of a pause over there on the Garen, but it's not necessarily going to be able to do too much.
Top lane showing off those new particle effects on the Garen skin. Unfortunately, really nothing else happening so far.
Absolutely. I mean, how does Garen not get dizzy after all that spinning?
Look, some people may have a strong enough constitution to be able to spin at what appears to be inhuman speeds, much like Garen's spin. We will have what looks like some gameplay going on at Rift Herald. I'm interested to see if they can manage to play the objective game, or if we're just going to continue on with the gameplay that we've been seeing so far.
Absolutely. I mean, I definitely can notice just some of the pings on the map. Being able to address that Rift Herald is in play, and we do have probably a bit of a Rift Herald dance over here, especially coming from the side of the ANU Owls team in that sense. So very curious to see whether or not, yes, if they do, are able to follow up on that Rift Herald. We do have it warded at the very least, so that may be able to move forward. But also at the same time, in the bottom lane over there, now we do have the Wheels of Bureaucracy, probably with the bottom lane being their strongest lane, considering just how much they've been able to push and how much damage they've done to that tower.
Well, once more, they do have a stronger earlier game with that Lucian Morgana, able to get those free engages. They need to be capitalizing.
Yes, but we do have now another 2v1 because Volibear is able to come through and support, so Ming is trying to get away, but it did not completely manifest.
Unfortunately, Goonsack unable to hover his mouse over the opposing laner. Wasn't able to capitalize on those skill shots or that flash, but that will very, very much put the pressure on Ming, potentially psych him out for further engages.
Absolutely. I mean, at this point, like Volibear, and Goonsack has been in that position and has been able to help with the gank twice. And now I'm looking just at the map right now, like they're just in position threatening for the Rift Herald, all the while that they were able to get a kill. And they were able to bring it now back to 2-2 because Darren and Pat Simmons was able to get the kill on Sibber.
Pat Simmons with the style points to the Ignite.
Oh no, but we do have another team fight of sorts, almost, and the Rift Herald is out of play right now, but that's not necessarily going to be able to escalate in that scenario, so just a bit of a tease in that sense, while the bottom lane tower has also been destroyed. First turret down, and that is thanks to the Wheels of Bureaucracy.
Pat Simmons there, just to bounce back to that earlier engage, utilizing his flash end his ignite, and finalizing with that judgment, dropping Boson.
Right, so now we do have another team fight happening right now. 3 members of the Wheels of Bureaucracy team just being able to threaten enough for the ANU Owls to be able to retreat, going back to the base on one of their team members as well. But now we do have another Drake in play. What do we have here?
So we have an Infernal Drake. Unfortunately, Owls have backed off just in time. It looks like the Wheels of Bureaucracy will take that Infernal Drake for free. Their team really needed that extra scaling.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, at this point now, there definitely is an advantage when it comes down to the Drakes. So, I mean, between being able to have 2 Drakes on their side, we'll need to see whether or not that's going to ultimately be able to lead into an advantage. I mean, considering some of the other objectives, overall, it is just in the advantage of the Wheels of Bureaucracy team, but it is still pretty close. I mean, and here is now one of the generic questions. What does the ANU Owls need to do to be able to bring this back?
The ANU Owls have shown some spectacular gameplay. Once they go under the screw, they work really well under pressure. It looks like they're trying to capitalize on their lead in lane with Pat Simmons. Once they get Go Next scaling in, we've seen how deadly he can be on that Cassiopeia. They just need to play this out, get to that late game. They do outscale.
Oh, but we do have some more engages happening over here. We have another death. Serpent Stake went down on the Wheels of Bureaucracy team, now leading the ANU Owls to be in the lead in terms of the kills, and that's going to add some more pressure onto the mid lane. While we also do have Pat Simmons going in on Ming at the very top lane as well, but we do have now more of the team coming through for the Wheels of Bureaucracy, hiding underneath the tower and being able to do a defend, being able to fend off the ANU Owls team.
The Owls did get some damage on the mid lane. Looks like they set out for Rift Herald. This is going to be absolutely huge if they not only get this Herald, but also maybe get a pick out of the very, very slow to rotate Wheels of Bureaucracy. This could be huge.
Absolutely, and now we have another teleport coming through thanks to the ward, but then they already were able to manage to take out the Rift Herald, so it's a bit too little too late, but they are trying to chase it up. The Wheels of Bureaucracy, they went in, and they got a kill on Dutch, now evening out on the kills 3-3.
Wheels of Bureaucracy pulling out their mop and bucket, cleaning up Dutch to even some of that trade. It looks like there's going to be a bit of a contest around top. It sounds like they're not looking to dive this one. It's going to be interesting to see where they play this one out. The Owls have that Rift Herald for when they want to secure any of those turrets.
Absolutely. I mean, we do have this 4 versus 4 scenario happening over here, and it's definitely looking like the ANU Owls are really trying to defend that top tower and doing all that they can because they are being pressured right now. Absolutely pressured, and they need to try to make the most of this situation because now some of them have actually even gone back to base, and I mean, I'm just ready for this to really just escalate because we even do have a teleport coming through, but none of that managed to make it anywhere. But we also do have the mid lane tower over here. It's about to go down. Wheels of Bureaucracy are going to be able to take that one out, and that's going to be able to put yet another tower on the board for the Wheels of Bureaucracy, 2-0 into the tower.
I've pointed out before, Wheels of Bureaucracy is playing the objective game. 2 Drakes, 2 turrets, up to the nil on both ends of the Owls. The Owls either need to look at cleaning some kills up, taking objectives where they can, or potentially changing up the way they're playing. They really need to commit to one course of action. Otherwise, it is looking fairly dire for them.
Right, absolutely. Okay, so it is starting to show that some of the advantages starting to come into play. Some of that war of attrition is starting to come into play. So they can't necessarily just keep doing what they're doing. They need to really be able to move forward in terms of some of these objectives, as you've been saying, because right now they're going to just eventually be continuously falling behind. And this could be another result as with the first game. I mean, in the first game, it was quite even. But yet then it just landslided in favor of the Bureaucracy. But now we have yet another team fight going on over here, and it's looking like the Lucian was able to try to use the R, and that did end up in trying to be able to do some damage, but the Lucian does go down, and oh my gosh, a narrow escape from one of the other champions on the ANU Owls team, but then at that point, they're still going at it, going back and forth. Dutch goes down, thanks to Ming. Ming being able to get another kill over there, and now there's another kill over here. Oh my gosh, like this is some of the back and forth, the encounters, the double kills of Ming, able to secure some more, and that's going to be 2 people going down on the ANU team, and they're still going. They're still in the middle of this team fight right over here, bit back and forth, but it is completely back and forth in that sense, using Pat Simmons being able to get a few more kills towards the end over there.
Both teams engaging what was looking like a clean team fight, turning into a bar brawl. Both teams really committed everything they had. That Glacial Prison was spectacular. Coming from Goonsack, unfortunately, the Cataclysm by Pneumatic wasn't able to lock it down. It looks like there's some big trades. Shelly comes in with that headbutt, taking out the turret. That's a first headbutt or turret for the Owls team. They're gonna, will they be able to take this momentum, maybe get some more objectives? We did see that damage from Shelly coming off onto that inner mid turret. That's exactly what they needed.
Surely, it sounds like the name of Pet at that point. I really like that one. So yes, now we do have yet another Drake going down. What Drake do we have here?
This one is a Cloud Drake, so if they get those 2 Cloud Drakes, that's 2 of the 3 stacks, they'll get a lot of out-of-combat movement speed.
Oh, but we do now have another engage. The red team was able to take out that Cloud Drake, but at the same time now, we do have the Garen. Pat Simmons is going in. Pat Simmons is on a killing spree. He's just taking it out, and they're still chasing down. They're not letting them go. Pat Simmons is going to be following in, and Ming is going to be trying to get away, but Pat Simmons was like, no, I got your number because I saw you on the top lane, and you know what? I know where you live, and I'm going to come for you on that one.
That was a very big call. Unfortunately, he did know who he was. He didn't know where he lived, but he found him, and he finished him off.
Absolutely. I mean, you didn't even need caller ID on that one. So now here we go. We do have Baron in play. Baron is going to be now going down to the ANU Owls team. And I mean, ANU Owls has, in some respect, arguably brought this back.
Well, the Owls always needed just to stall this game out. We've pointed out time and time again that they have that extra scaling. They get to that late game, they start doing what they're doing right now. They've come back from a 3k gold deficit. They're now working on 2k gold up themselves. They've got that late game scaling. That Garen's come online, that Kaisar's come online, that Cassiopeia's come online. This is looking really good. The Owls are able to not only take those amazing team fights, bring them into their own favor, but they then took that Baron as a capitalization from it. That was some really spectacular macro play from the Owls.
Absolutely. I mean, just really being able to turn it around. Definitely we had the Wheels of Bureaucracy with the early game strategy, but then we did have the ANU Owls now really pushing in that late game strategy as we're going into 24 minutes on the clock. Still, probably if you really look at it in terms of 15-minute intervals, still probably in the middle of the game at that point, but at the same time, we do have some more action here on the middle lane tower. That's going to be the next tower taken down. That's going to be 2 towers each, and you really now starting to press their advantage, and this is now going to be having me ask the flip side of this question, the generic question: what does Wheel of Bureaucracy need to do to bring this back?
Well, the Wheels of Bureaucracy are going to need to find that magical team fight where they win. They need to see.
And this could be it. Sorry to cut you off, but they're still moving forward, and it's looking like it's not necessarily going to be going in the Wheels of Bureaucracy favor because, oh my gosh, Volibear is actually taking quite a bit of damage over there. Goonsack does goes down to Serpent Snake, and the Lucian is able to take that one out. So a bit of a trade over there, 1-for-1, but still looking like the kills are in the favor of the ANU Owls team. And they're going back in. They want to be able to use that Baron buff. They want to be able to maintain that pressure, and they're going to try to be able to take out that middle lane base tower because that is their one way. And it's looking like the middle lane for 2 games in a row has proven to be the gateway for the ANU Owls to be able to make it into the base of the Wheels of Bureaucracy.
Wheels of Bureaucracy showing off the cleanliness that brought them to this occasion. Able to pick up the kill on Goonsack, on his Sejuani, when the fight looked like it was going to go in the Owls' favor. That was really beautifully done.
Absolutely, and so now also noticing that the top lane tower has gone down for the ANU team. So at that point, I mean, it's looking like Pat Simmons has really been able to show some dominance in that top lane, showing who's really on top in that sense.
It looks like they're capitalizing. Owls are taking that outer bot turret, getting those objectives while they can. It seems like the Wheels of Bureaucracy weren't able to get there in time, even with that Cloud Drake.
Yes.
An interesting play they've got here. Pat Simmons with that health regeneration build we saw before. He is keeping that mid lane under control, just pruning the hedge, if you will, of the Owls game plan.
Absolutely, like it's just that Baron buff has definitely been used in a manner that was quite effective for the ANU Owls, being able to use it, capitalize it, to be able to make some of those switches into the middle lane over there. And now, at that point, you know, some of the outer towers on the Wheels of Bureaucracy side are taken out while their middle lane base is exposed. So, like, this is just going to really be able to give them an opportunity to be able to move forward. But yes, as we were saying, what does Wheels of Bureaucracy need to do to break this back?
Well, most certainly, they need to really find either the rotations, get some split push going down, or get more of those picks like the one we saw earlier on Goonsack. They need to stop bleeding objectives to the Owl side. There's a dragon coming up in around about 30 seconds. I'm interested to see they need to lock this down. If they lose another dragon, that's a huge advantage in that late game for the Owl side.
Oh, but now we do have a bit of another engagement. They're doing a bit of a dragon dance over here. The dragons come in, but the volley bear comes through and is starting to do some attacks. But at the same time, we're being taken out because Lucian is going through and being chased by the Garen, even though Lucian was trying to do some pressure. And now Pat Simmons moving forward is unstoppable, while also Camden is also being taken out. But they're still continuing. This is going to be just another champion just to go down on that side. ANU is really starting to take a few more people out from the Wheels of Bureaucracy team. That is going to be 4 people down on Wheels of Bureaucracy.
Very, very much so. The Wheels of Bureaucracy team trying to kill Goonsack like trying to take down a brick wall with your fists.
Yeah, that's not necessarily going to be easy, but at the same time, they need to put the wall up first, so that they can put it up faster than Trump put up the wall.
The Owls are making the Wheels of Bureaucracy pay for it. This is a spectacular take. They've capitalized on every advantage and opportunity they've had. This is some grade A gameplay coming out of the Owls. Defying expectations really is bringing a tear to my eye.
Absolutely. I mean, when you're talking about bleeding some of the objectives over to the ANU Owls team, I mean, when you make a mistake, punishment game is going to be key, and that's a term that we do use in Super Smash Brothers, and I can imagine it could be used in any other context as well. I mean, being able to really make the most of the mistake that somebody else has been able to give you the opportunity of, and being able to capitalize. You cannot be lowercase when you're doing those punishes.
Very, very much so. It looks like the Wheels of Bureaucracy are getting super smashed out of this game. It really is. All the Owls have to do is just ledge guard their way through the rest of this matchup.
All right, so yeah, I mean, the landslide right here is it's undeniable. I mean, they've almost overlapped them in the kills. Baron is back in play. Now there's going to be another Baron dance happening between both teams, trying to see, you know, are we going to go for it? Are we not going to go for it? Are we going to go for the team fight? Are we not going to go for the team fight? I mean, I just feel teased so much right now, and I'm just like, you know, you can only tease me so much. You have to give it to me at the end of the day.
Both teams are hovering like vultures, looking for the engage. And it looks like the Owls are trying to capitalize on this, force the engage. It looks like Pat Simmons has drawn off mid. There's 4 players at that Baron pit.
Yeah, and we do now have the Lucian going through, putting in another arc, being able to take out a couple people over there. Goonsack now also being able to take out some of the other champions as well. But yes, this is not necessarily working in the favor of the Wheels of Bureaucracy team. ANU Owls is starting to go even further, slaying some more, and the Garen is going to go in. There's going to be a bit of a stall, but it's not going to be enough. They were waiting for that. We have the ace, 5 members down. Are they going to be able to finish this game?
The Wheels of Bureaucracy have everyone down for the next 13 seconds. This is looking like it's going to be at least 2 turrets. The teleport coming in to go next into that base. They're going to finish this game up right here and right now.
Oh my god, that's it. This is the end of it. That is your game 3. Congratulations to ANU Owls slaying the Wheels of Bureaucracy team, bringing it back 2 games in a row after losing the first game, and it was looking very dire for them, but they were able to make that late game count, and ending up with a result that a number of people here did not see coming.
Thank you very much, casters. So, Team ANU Owls, how was your redemption match?
Oh god, that was a redemption arc, eh? Thanks to the audience for sticking it out. Yeah, we didn't think it would go past game 2, but hey.
Woo! Apparently so. Thank you very much, Team ANU Esports, for that amazing match. Team Wheels of Bureaucracy. What led to your downfall?
I think Serpent Snake has some.
Well, I think he had too many accounts. We couldn't scout him out, and all of his mid lane picks. That was a bit of a problem. But no, they played as the better team. We weren't together. I like to think of it as we were focusing on studies. So maybe it's not a loss in the long run.
Fair enough. If both teams could grab up and just go shake each other's hands, please be a good sport. Come on. Gotta be good sports here. Come on, Team ANU Owls, get up, go shake their hands. We're being good sports around here. Well played, both teams. Thank you very much for showing us some intense matches. And thank you once again, audience, for sticking around for all 3 games. It was long. I'm surprised you're all still here, but thank you very much for staying. So, just have a few words to say. A couple of big thank yous to Reload, firstly, for hosting us. ANU Inusa for helping us hire this venue. ANU FGC, who had the Smash tournament going on before. And both teams for playing some fantastic matches tonight. And thank you to our casters. We have Red Wart, Tin Man, and Fetch still sitting there having fun. So thank you very much for casting these amazing games. Thank you. And everyone, if you could follow us on Discord and Facebook, ANU Esports. We have plenty of more events coming up. You want to join the League Uni Rumble that goes throughout the semester. That's also going to be super fun. We've got RP prizes and stuff. And thank you very much for coming to tonight. I will see you all at the next event. Thank you very much.